The depth of Mahabharata and interactions paint a mythic roadmap, helping a person to understand themselves through its image. One such character is Duryodhana, the Kuru prince, who represents the shadow at its most corrupt and morally reprehensible. An understanding of Duryodhana's character will lead a person to a necessary understanding of a particular side of a psyche. This would bring a person closer to owning the shadows and leading enlightenment. Here, I offer an alternative view of Duryodhana and his role, which I believe to be more properly supported by the Mahabharata text and historical context. हाय यशिका।
हाय।
क्या कर रही है?
बुक पढ़ रही हूँ।
हाँ, आई मीन कौन सी पढ़ रही है?
राइज ऑफ काली, दुर्योधन महाभारत।
ओह, महाभारत। इज इट इंटरेस्टिंग?
या, रिसर्च करनी है यार, and I have taken the character of Duryodhan.
Oh my God, tragic. I might help you something in your research that might enlighten your research.
Yeah, the book is worth reading, but I feel Mahabharata is more about war of egos than war of heroes. Such a learned people and still they led to war, it's beyond me.
Exactly. We all make mistakes, see, and what their mistake led to. The biggest piece of literature and tons of lessons to learn from them. But unfortunately, we go through them every day and still make the same sins.
Yeah, but it's not like they didn't have guidance. They had great, well-versed men like Dronacharya and Bhishma Pitama. Still, even after living under their shadow, Duryodhan couldn't learn anything from them and made a great mistake.
Duryodhan.
Yeah, Duryodhan. Isn't he one of the major reasons for the war? He and his uncle Shakuni? I mean, if I were to make a list of the most malicious creatures of the Mahabharata, I think he will be in top 5. His ego got him killed, and the entire Kaurav family had to pay the price.
Quick to judge. Surprising? Everyone has the same portrayal of character. When I discuss Mahabharata with my friends and relatives, I am often struck by their insistence on the Duryodhan's evilness. So when we see in published commentaries and online also, we find it really very odd.
What do you mean? Are you saying that you're able to see something big on this?
We can say that all everybody sees is a bad. Our decisions don't really define us. Just because the history was written in the favor of winners, therefore losers are always portrayed as evil, bad and demonic.
What version of Mahabharata have you read, Charmi? His adharma led to his bad karma. What kind of brother goes to a war against his own brothers? And if you're taking sides, then you should consider the fact that he is the perfect example of Jaisi Karni, Vaisi Bharni.
Or maybe his character just has the story of other side which nobody knows or even bothers to know just because he did some bad deeds and he's famous for his evilness.
Fine then, if you know about it so much, why don't you enlighten me? Tell me more about it. It will be more helpful for me in the research. Help me change my perspective.
Yeah, surely he was a villain because he tried to cheat and attack on Pandavas and humiliated their wife Draupadi. But let's not forget, he represents a true Kshatriya. With his excellent traits like loyalty, friendship, warfare, power, wealth, which represents the Kshatriya Dharma at utmost. Let me introduce you to how loyal friend he was to Karna. One of the best qualities of Duryodhana was his sincere friendship to Karna. When Karna was humiliated in an archery competition against Arjuna in the name of low birth, Duryodhana came and gave him the whole kingdom just to remove the stains of inferiority complex from his mind. Duryodhana's friendship with Karna was deep and strongest in the great epic, and Duryodhana was really crushed bad on the death of Karna. And hey, let me tell you this thing, he was really loyal and faithful to his queen Bhanumati and also had more faith in his friend Karna. Let me narrate you one incident. When Duryodhana's dear friend Karna and his wife Bhanumati were playing the game of dice in the chamber of the queen, and the stake between them was substantial. As the game progressed, it was evident that Bhanumati was losing. And just then Duryodhana entered in his queen's chamber. Seeing at him, Bhanumati was going to stand up to greet him. As soon as she stood up and she was rising, Karna thought that she was escaping the game because of the usual defeat. Seeing that, Karna snatched her drape studded with pearls. And due to Karna's powerful hands, the thread snapped and all the pearls rolled down on the floor. Queen Bhanumati was stunned and was shocked and did not know what to say. Even Karna was embarrassed looking at the situation, that how would Duryodhana analyze it. But at the end, Duryodhana just says that should I collect the beads or string them as well.
Oh my god, how was I unaware about these facts?
And hey, let me tell you about the incident where Duryodhana respects merits above all. When Draupadi rejects Karna at her Swayamvar in the name of low birth, Duryodhana then defending him says that great sages and warriors are not born great, they are made great. Another incident, when knowing about Sahadev's astrological power, he asked him to fix the Muhurat for the commencement of war.
Wow, that was again something that I did.
Not only as a person, he was also referred as a valor.
Valor?
Yeah, valor, something like a great courage in the sense of danger, especially in a battlefield. And there also, he strictly sticks to his Kshatriya Dharma. When he is invited for a combat, he chooses Bhim instead of any other Pandavas because it was a fair war between them.
How come I'm so naive? It's like I'm looking from the other side of the table. Still can't figure out if he was a victim or a suspect.
Yeah, and you also need to know more. He was a skilled strategist. Recall the incident where he is able to win the pledge of King Shalya, the maternal uncle of Pandavas. It so happened when King Shalya was moving with his army force to support Yudhishthira after hearing the initiation of the Kurukshetra war. And on his way, he was well taken care. And impressed by the hospitality, King Shalya offered a full support, thinking that it was Yudhishthira, and then only he came to find out that no, that was Duryodhana. And thus he was indebted to Duryodhana just because Duryodhana wanted an equivalent charioteer as Krishna to Arjuna.
Shalya? Wasn't he Nakul Sahadev's uncle? He fought for the other side? Well, one can say that he wasn't tricked. Duryodhana won him over with his attitude.
And also we can't avoid that he was warfare. Despite his negative traits in the field of life, he was referred to as a fair warrior in the battlefield. Respected and followed the rules of the war, which were considered the trait of a good Kshatriya. Whereas Pandavas violated the rules of wars many a times. As per the guidance of Krishna, where they killed Bhishma, Drona and Karna, we would doubt that the rules were not applicable to the Krishna, reason being he was God himself. And also in his last fight, he chose Bhim, his peer opponent, to make the fight fair. Even though he was deceived, Balram refers to him as a fair warrior. He shall obtain eternal blessedness due to his actions in the battlefield.
So you are saying that he was a true Kshatriya, that he had what it takes to become an ace warrior?
Let us just include power and prosperity also. And the ultimate goal of a Kshatriya is always A. Protecting his subject, and B. Expanding his power and wealth. And during his life, Duryodhana maintains a rulership over a great part of his territory and enjoys fantastic riches. And if we are to judge him on his own terms, then his power-seeking nature should be a virtue then. And isn't it a fact that he was a good commander too? Everyone knows that Dhritarashtra was the king of Hastinapur, but since he was blind, Duryodhana had managed his administration with a great influence over all people. And eventually, on hearing the death of Duryodhana, the people of Hastinapur wept in deep grief.
Now that you are saying this, it can be said that it was Krishna who considered himself above the law. He considered himself above the Kshatriya Dharma. On his deathbed, Duryodhana accused Krishna of killing Bhishma, Dronacharya and Karna by dishonorable means. Pandavas, on the other hand, were ready to violate the Kshatriya Dharma because of their religious dedication towards Krishna. They were ready to violate every kind of code just because of Krishna's command. Duryodhana, on the other side, who did not believe in Krishna, was only following his Kshatriya Dharma, which by all means ended to his death. Now that you've convinced me, I can believe that Duryodhana wasn't just as bad. But what was that one thing that drove him to insanity? What was that was tricking him so bad that he went to a war that led to him?
He really did not wish to have a war. He just wished to have his right to rule the dynasty, as per being the son of the ruling king. And the very fact that people don't actually like to get compared when people can't see their worth, and eventually they get demotivated and end up choosing wrong means to cope up things. And every part of his life he was a victim of comparison and had to prove himself proficient enough.
So you are saying that Duryodhana was just one of us? That he also felt insecure and was afraid to get compared every now and then?
So now you see, there in the battlefield, nobody was perfect. There was no perfect hero nor a perfect villain in Mahabharata. Mistake and unrighteousness was everywhere, and nobody was free from that. As Narad said, that Duryodhana attained heaven due to fulfilling his Kshatriya Dharma. No doubt his bad deeds were against the Kshatriya Dharma, but the deeds he fulfilled as a Kshatriya were way more superior than his bad deeds.
Now I get it. The rule of war is same for everybody. Nobody is beyond that. The Pandavas, they fought with Krishna along them, the divine power, the Lord himself. But still, they managed to violate every law of Mahabharata. But Duryodhana, who did not believe in Krishna, still was a true Kshatriya even on his deathbed.
Hi guys, this is Charmi Antala and Ishika Tripathi. So if you feel that this video has changed your perspective, please do hit a like button. And also your comments and views beyond the video are welcome in the comment section below. Thank you for watching this video.